Hello, I'm Arman Khodaei. I am 24 years old and have high function autism. Today, I am responding to a video that a 7-year-old did actually, and the 7-year-old is very intelligent. You should really watch the video. It seems that most of the thoughts that the 7-year-old had were his own original thoughts, and the 7-year-old, he's responding after his dad showed him a video that a parent or some woman did, calling autism a sickness, and I guess also kind of being upset at vaccinations and that sort of thing. And so I really like the video a lot because the kid, is you get to see his perspective, and the kid's a little bit higher function, of course. I really loved how the dad, really loved and was supportive of his child, and how there was acceptance for the child for who he was. And I think it's very important for parents to understand that their child is who they are. It's not a sickness. And so the dad asked him, well, how, the child said it made him upset when the mother was talking about curing autism. And autism is not a sickness. And the child said, he didn't want to be cured because he felt like, it would be destroying his autism. And I think he means by that is that who he is would cease to be. And I didn't have that awareness at that age about autism because my mom didn't tell me then. But when I became aware, I had no desire to be cured. And for pretty much the same reason, I didn't want the autism part of me to be destroyed. I was content and happy with who I was. And so it's really great. You should watch the video. Moving forward, so about the whole vaccination thing. I originally made a video a while ago going into the whole vaccine debate. And now even more evidence has come to light. And so a lot of parents ask me, do I think vaccines cause autism? Well, first of all, I do not believe vaccines cause autism. They might trigger it in some cases, but I do not believe it is nearly as much as we believe it be. Some parents are like, well, my child was perfectly normal, then the next thing I know, he's autistic. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it might be the vaccine, sometimes it just might be just when we get the vaccines and the schedule and everything like that. The unfortunate thing about the whole vaccination issue is that Andrew Wakefield, the person who put out the data, really fudged things up big times. I mean, he really messed up the data so much, it's not even funny. He originally published this thing in the Lancet journal. He was working on another vaccination. He paid for blood samples for kids at a party. He pretty much falsified the data. And the General Medical Council said, all right, a few months ago they said, you messed up. This is a total farce. So this was not that long ago. And so in the Lancet journal, the one that published it, they said, all right, your data, your publication, we're no longer accepting. This is a very prestigious medical journal, and they were embarrassed by it, but they have retracted his study. So Andrew Wakefield's study has really no relevance. Now, does that mean we should continue to go after vaccines? Well, really, the biggest thing I see vaccines are as really a scapegoat, because a lot of the parents who really attack vaccines, in my opinion, it seems like they're very upset with the way that their child is, from what I've noticed. And what I really believe is that, well, not just what I believe, but what I've seen, I'm being too lazy right now, but I've read about 3 different studies about genetics and how there definitely seems to be a genetic correlation between autism. And what I believe is that, some parents say, all right, well, if we stop vaccinations, we will be able to prevent autism. Now, in the UK, in 1998, the amount of measles was at 56. Now, 2008, it was 1,348 for that year. That's a quantum leap in measles. So it wasn't just, both measles and autism went up. And there are also a couple of fatalities because of that rise in measles. Now, so, I'm not necessarily going one bandwagon or another, but there's a lot of evidence that says otherwise. Now, I believe if you really want to help parents out, parents that have a child, parents who don't yet have a child, who are thinking about having a child, whatever, we really need to look into the genetics. That's where we're going to make progress. If we keep on attacking vaccinations, I do not believe we'll be making nearly as much progress as we can with genetics. Now, you might be able to take away a trigger by vaccinations, but genetics, if the trigger is caused by genetics in the first place, if we just go with the genetics, we'll be able to, perhaps in the pregnancy stages, whatever, turn off that gene, stop the child from being born of autism. And so I believe it's genetics that we really need to look into. And so if you want, if you're thinking about putting money or whatever for research, do it for genetic research, because that's where we are going to find a potential cure if that's really what you want. Or that's how we're going to find ways to stop autism from increasing in the future. And the most effectively, because we can stop the genetic side and still allow the child to have vaccinations and things, the children will be healthier, there'll be less autism, etc. So genetics is the place to look at. And there is definite concrete evidence in relation to genetics, whereas with the vaccinations, the evidence has really been muddled a lot and messed up, and the way that Andrew Wakefield, whose study was based upon, the initial study was a farce. It was a lie. And so that's all I have to say. Watch the video. It's really great to see, a 7-year-old's perspective. All right, I thank you for watching and have an awesome day of awesomeness.